Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we have some XRP news, some Bitcoin news, among other things. But this first article, this first topic is nothing new to us. See, I'm glad everyone else is starting to find out, because what's happening is now you're starting to see increased activity. Now, what am I talking about here? Someone is looking into Ripple and IMF connections. Now, if you remember years ago, we uncovered that presentation that Ripple did for the IMF. Those were the beginnings. Since that time, they've had multiple communications and exchanged information multiple times. And not only that, but some time ago, do you also remember when we covered an article where Ripple literally became a part of like an IMF advisory board? It was something like that. You remember that? So they literally work together. OK, so there's going to be a lot of communication between Ripple and IMF, but they're going to keep it quiet. I'll probably put the article somewhere on the screen here so you can see. Once again, like I said, we covered this before. But now they're communicating even more because now Ripple's in the clear. For the time being, they're in the clear, I believe. That will continue. And so now they can thrive. Different things are going to be implemented. Different opportunities are now open. Sky's the limit. Not only that, but it's not just the IMF connections, and we'll get into the article in a moment, but also keep in mind, Ripple is also on I think it's a task force for the Bank for International Settlements. They have all the major connections. So this is why sometimes I say, I don't think it's far-fetched that Swift is here as a layer and then Ripple goes on top. You see, all of these major companies are going to need countries are going to need someone like Ripple. They're going to need something like XRP because it has true global reach. Swift is a thing of the past. It will never be used the way that it once was. It's weaponized. You need something, so they have to interact with someone like Ripple, who's neutral, but has complete global reach. But yeah, this is nothing new. They work together. But wait, let's read this little tidbit here. This article is titled, Ripple Important Level of Contact with IMF Revealed in Fresh Palau Report. Really, all this is doing is confirming that partnership they have, whatever that is, where they're on an advisory board, that's real and that has continued. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to grow. You want to be honest, But let's read this little tidbit here. It says here, a recently released report on Palau's National Government Payment Service has revealed a significant level of contact between Ripple and the International Monetary Fund. Of course, it says prominent XRP community member Wrath of Kahneman, shout out to Wrath of Kahneman, unearthed this observation and highlighted it in a recent post on X. Notably, the report from Palau highlighted why is it jumping like this? Highlighted the successful completion of Phase 2A of the country's digital payment initiative. For context, this initiative focuses on developing a stablecoin service, PSC. Palau is carrying out this project in collaboration with Ripple, utilizing the XRP Ledger, which I believe this next year or two, you're going to see deployed more and more and more. You see, they have the support of the IMF. They have the support of the BIS. They're in the clear in the US now. It's time to play. This is what I'm talking about. Things are going to dramatically increase in activity. It continues on here. Ripple's important level of contact with the IMF. It says what stands out in this latest report is the inclusion of the IMF technical assistance team. I don't think if I saw this, it wouldn't have stood out. I'm glad someone else is highlighting this because it wouldn't have stood out to me. Because as I said before, we keep in mind over here on this side that they're on the advisory board for the IMF. They're going to exchange information. If you believe that, like I said, then they did the presentation for the IMF. The IMF has referenced Ripple and XRP before in documents. I believe it was them. I believe the BIS has, well, we know the BIS has projects that they tested, on XRPL and XRP. Ripple was a part of many competitions right alongside Stellar, and I believe it was, R3, other companies. So this is nothing new to us. That wouldn't have stood out to me. I would have said to myself, yep, yeah, sure. They work together. Yeah, this is huge. But what's happening now, because we're in the clear, all of this news is going to start coming out. People are getting more and more bullish. And other researchers know that, and they're saying, hey, listen, look, there's new activity. This is still continuing. They're showing the world the activity is continuing. The trajectory continues upward. If this isn't bullish, I don't know what is. It says, Rath Economy emphasized the significance of this connection. Of course. Good job. Yeah, sure. This report serves as tangible evidence of their collaboration on a practical level. Once again, we covered that connection before. It's going to continue to grow. It'll be potent. I'm just going to leave it at that. So I don't keep repeating myself on this one aspect. Wait until they see what's going on with the BIS. Wait until that information comes out. You know, their mind's going to be blown, right? All right, so we're going to move on here. That's some good news to start off with. In my humble opinion, gets me fired up. All right, so now we're going to go here. And this is in correlation with Bitcoin, in relation to Bitcoin, this article here. It's titled, "They're Stuck. Strikes Jack Mallers says U.S. needs dollar liquidity soon. Sees Bitcoin outperforming S&P 500. I don't think there's anything in the future. I don't think there's anything that's going to be able to compete with crypto. As far as the gains that you see from crypto can be completely unleashed when the time is right. In my humble opinion, there's nothing that's explosive like crypto. The stock market doesn't even come close. I was in the stock market before crypto, so I know. I'm still in the stock market. And I love the gains from crypto more than anything. Only thing better than crypto when it comes to gains, and you know, we'll see what happens once that season comes back, will be NFT season. You know, which obviously NFT is just one facet of the DLT systems, of course. But that's the only thing that skyrockets faster and makes better profit than cryptos at a certain time. But anyway, so this article is titled, "They're Stuck. Strikes Jack Mallers. Says U.S. needs dollar liquidity soon. Sees Bitcoin outperforming S&P 500. The chief executive of Bitcoin wallet and payments application Strike believes the federal government is about to make moves that will be beneficial for the price of Bitcoin." Well, yes, we've been talking about this. Listen, if they do one rate cut, it's going to be insane. If they do 2 rate cuts, oh my word. Here, the concern is this. Will inflation spike again? Now, they've been dealing with stagflation. It's sticky inflation. Hasn't gone anywhere. Right? I know the data that they're putting out, the numbers that they're putting out, but keep in mind they negate certain information. Now, the pressure is on them because of jobs, but this was already known. Jerome Powell acknowledged that. Janet Yellen spoke on that before as well, about a year ago or a year and a half ago, something like that. That, listen, when you raise interest rates, people are going to lose their jobs. That's just how it is. I think that's pretty close to what Jerome Powell let be known. People just don't listen to his speeches. I do, some once in a while. And so they've known that. But what's happening here is a lot of political pressure because people are outwardly, finally, the regular people, salt of the earth, are complaining about the conditions that are out there. They can't hide it anymore. People are making videos on TikTok all over the place about how hard the job market is. And these people have bachelor's degrees. They have master's degrees. They're serious business. Not only that, in addition to that, you have recruiters coming out and talking about what's going on. So the truth is coming out. They can't escape it. There's a lot of political pressure. So they may be forced to make these rate cuts. And you know, we'll see how that works out. Like I said, if they do, the markets will explode, but how everything else reacts now, that's going to be interesting. We'll see how that works out. Says in a new Kitco News interview, Jack Mallers says the U.S. cannot afford a strong dollar. It didn't look strong today. It did not look strong today. It was in the red. You know, it says, and it also cannot afford a weaker dollar following the stock and crypto wipeout earlier this month. Well, gold is up, dollar is down right now. We'll see how it is if this continues. Of course, they have certain activities going on that can change dramatically, very quickly. On August the 5th, stocks and crypto cracked. That we know. I don't want to even bring up that negative energy. No need for it. We already know. It says here, in Japan, droves of investors borrowed cheap yen to purchase high growth asset stocks like crypto to generate profits. But when the yen suddenly rallied, those investors had to sell the assets, buy yen, and pay back what they borrowed to protect their profits. According to Mallers, the U.S. is now trapped, and the only way out is to stealthily print more dollars. Yeah, remember I said that last year. I said last year they're going to have to turn the so-called money printer back on. It's a rinse and repeat process. It's a doom cycle. If I'm using that properly, it's a doom cycle. Because they began it, now they cannot stop that. It's the only way that they can solve this system, which realistically, if you're not propping it up, it would collapse. The system is bad. I told you, it's dilapidated. It must be replaced. It must be fixed. You're going to have to tear out the engine of the old car and put in a new engine. The new engine will be the new financial system. The new financial system is more than just moving value. It's the tokenization of everything, the tracking of everything, better security. And keep in mind, it's not just going to be DLT. The new financial system, in my humble opinion, I told you this years ago, is going to be in combination with AI. This is why you hear companies like Flare talking about AI, and a lot of other companies also, but I'm just going to use Flare as a reference. Then also, also you're going to have a lot of quantum computing. When quantum computing comes out, that's going to be major. This is why they quantum proof some of these bank coins already. I think it was Algorand. Was it Algorand or Hedera? One of those two, I believe, was the first to quantum proof their DLT systems. That's going to be major. All of these mainstream technologies are going to congeal at some point, in my humble opinion. I said it years ago. Now you're seeing it begin to happen here. You're already seeing it in trading. People using AI bots. I'm talking about real AI bots to trade it, etc., and make predictions and such. I see more AI predictions than I see regular people predictions, which I'll say is quite boring in my humble opinion. I find people to be much more interesting in AI. When it comes to predictions and such, especially, and I see some articles too as well. And it's just, AI just does not have that creative ability. It doesn't have that charisma that people have, although they're trying to get AI to be close to, artificial general intelligence. So it says here, continues, quote, "What I think we saw is the dollar weakened against the yen. Trouble. Unwinding of a carry trade." All right. If the dollar strengthens, it's unwinding of another carry trade. When the dollar strengthens, those that hold dollar debt all of a sudden have a tough time financing that. You sell what you can, not what you want. All these foreign entities own treasuries. All right. We're going to move on from here. Let's move on to this next one here. But yeah, if they do those interest rate cuts, man, Bitcoin will go up. The rest of crypto will go up all at the same time, I believe. My humble opinion, not financial advice. Calm down. All right. So now, we have some more Bitcoin news here. Nice. Good. So now this article is titled, "Trader Says Bitcoin and Crypto Witnessing Final Weeks of Pain, Predicts Big Breakout for Altcoin Market." I agree. Bitcoin and altcoins go up together. I don't see this separate altcoin season happening. I just don't. It's not what I've learned from experience, but to each his own. However, notice how in the beginning of the year, I say towards the end of the first quarter, we read a lot of articles where people, so-called experts, were predicting that Bitcoin would go off in the fourth quarter. Now we're seeing a cadre or a bevy or a myriad. Yeah, I used all three this time of so-called experts confirming that, hey, listen, yeah, we're seeing the same thing. We think Bitcoin's going to go off in the fourth quarter or towards the top of next year, sometime around there. So this is looking more and more likely. This could be an insane fourth quarter, coming up, tail end of the year. Crypto strategist Michael Vanderpop thinks that the digital asset market is a few weeks away from concluding its multi-month correction. All right, let's scroll down past this gigantic ad. What is this ad for? About derivatives. Okay. Oh, it's a book about derivatives. A book about but I don't understand that. You can look that information up on the internet. Watch some YouTube tutorials, and you'll learn everything you need to know. I promise. According to Vanderpop, altcoins are flashing signs of life in their Bitcoin pair. Quote, "The final weeks of pain are happening on the markets. From September onwards, it's again the best period of the cycle for Bitcoin and crypto. BTC valuations are slowly grinding upwards already." To support his bullish stance on altcoins, Vanderpop shares a chart of Total 3 against Bitcoin. Total 3/Bitcoin. Total 3 tracks the market cap of crypto, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins. stable coins of which I don't care about. I'm just throwing that out there, and is used to gauge the performance of altcoins. According to Vanderpop, Total 3/BTC appears to be gearing up for a breakout. Quote, the only chart to watch. All right, so I hope it does have a breakout 100%. I hope it has a breakout as fast as possible. You want to be real. So now let's move on here. I want to get in as much news as I possibly can today. You know, some videos are more news based and some videos are more my opinion, a little bit of news dribbled in there. It depends. I'm different on different days. You know, today is going to be a heavy news day. All right. So now this article is titled BRICS Bridge Digital Payment System will be a bombshell globally. All right, well, this is coming from the chair of Russia's Federation Council. What are they supposed to say? The BRICS Bridge digital system is going to be trashed. They're not going to say their own thing is going to be horrible, terrible, and make a little impact. You know, although that could be true. Now, listen, it's not the digital payment system, in my humble opinion, that would be impactful if they ever get this off the ground. They have a lot of countries that want to use it, to be fair. But that's not what's going to be impactful, in my opinion. Now, if you listen to what the IMF says, you listen to what the BIS says, you listen to what the representatives of the U.S. government say, I think they tell you the truth in a lot of their concerns, right? Because they'll tell you, oh, BRICS is nothing, but you listen to their concerns, they tell on themselves. Now, what are they always talking about? They're always talking about fragmentation. Why is that their concern? It's their concern because they've always wanted a one world government. And that doesn't mean it would look like different pieces, but they really would all be on one accord. That's what they always wanted. So they fear fragmentation. Now, what the BRICS nation is doing is causing the most massive amount of fragmentation you have ever seen, ever. And it's a beautiful thing, in my humble opinion. That's where the money is. Gluing all those pieces together, I'm telling you, they're literally, in my humble opinion, all right, they're literally handing the money over to the new financial system because nothing else can glue them all together. The East, they hate the SWIFT system, and the West does not like the BRICS system, and they want to control everyone else in the East, you know. That's where it's going to be impactful. Increased fragmentation, right? Which then that will lead to, I think, logically speaking, increased deployment of new financial system mechanisms because they need interoperability. They need to glue things together. They need bridge currencies and etc. For cheap. They need tokenization of real world assets that they can't do en masse just yet. And especially, once again, even if they can do it, some of these legacy system companies are developing certain things. But when it comes to moving that value globally, how do they do that? Which legacy system offering has global reach, is trusted by both sides? Not one of them is right now, but we are, right? See? That's the advantage we have. Their weakness is our strength, right? Our strength. So I think that's where it would be impactful, you know, so I'm just going to leave that one there. You know, I'm just going to leave that one there. And let's move on here. If people want to know more, they can actually just look up this article. All right. So I know where it's going to go. They're pumping up the system. There's a lot of propaganda. Oh, ours is the best and it's going to change everything. Yeah. All right. Yeah, sure. Show me. You might be able to do it. Didn't do it. I don't want to hear too much talking. I'm not too much of a talker. I know people are watching channel like, you're not too much of a talker. I talk on the videos. In real life, I move. I like to shake and move. I get things done. That's why sometimes I'm worn out and I'm tired, just like you are. All right. So if I got to get things done during the day, I'm running around getting things done. I handle a lot of business. So now, oh, my word. Do you agree with this? Listen to this article here, right? Let me know in the comment section. Do you agree with this here? This article is titled, U.S. leading economic indicators continue to fall. No longer signal recession. What? Who was smoking what when they wrote this article? Pardon my language, right? Pardon my thoughts. However you want to put that. What? Are you kidding me? We're in a depression, friend. The U.S. recession fears were partly responsible for the early August slide in stocks and crypto. There was very specific data that they couldn't hide from anymore that made an impact, 100%. That has not changed, but let's hear you out. I want to hear the other side. The Conference Board's leading indicators no longer signal recession. The U.S. recession fears were partly responsible for the early August slide in stocks and crypto. Why do you say that again? Why do you article writers do that? But let's keep going. The leading U.S. economic indicators are still pointing to a slowdown, but no longer signal a recession. Data from the Conference Board, a nonpartisan and nonprofit research organization, showed Tuesday. Right. They're not biased at all. There's nobody's money going into their pocket. How's that nonprofit making any type of, how are those people that are working for that nonprofit making money? They're not working for free. They're not. Most nonprofits I've ever seen, they're getting a paycheck for what they do. They're not spending hours just doing nothing. So while the company itself is not bringing in, is not supposed to bring in profit, nonprofit, the people are getting paid. Who's paying them? You mean to tell me they're not biased? Yes, they are biased. Get out of here. My humble opinion. That's a positive sign for risk assets, including cryptocurrencies, the organization's leading economic indicator. So if that's the case, then you're telling me that the Fed is not. If that's the case, then the Fed should not do any rate cuts, right? Theoretically speaking, there would be no reason to do that if it's not saying recession anymore. They should be able to get away with doing no rate cuts at all. Then why is it being predicted that the next time that Powell talks is going to be a very soft tone? Typically, all right, let's keep going. The organization's leading economic indicators declined 0.6% in July. Numbers are highly manipulated. I keep saying that because I don't know why people continue with this verbiage of men lie, women lie, the numbers don't. The men and the women control the numbers that you see, and you are not there to verify those numbers. So those men and those women can manipulate those numbers, and those numbers can lie to you. Numbers tell you the story of who controls the numbers. It's just like history. History is the story of the victors. The victors in the past control what history tells you today. So there is no all truth are but half true, right? How else would I put that? But you understand what I'm saying. Those numbers are manipulated. But anyway, let's keep going. The measure peaked in the second quarter of 2022 and has been falling ever since. The LEI comprises several forward-looking indicators, such as average weekly hours in manufacturing, average weekly initial claims for jobless insurance, ISM, new orders index. My apologies. I'm like, it's a little choppy in my reading here because the thing keeps going up and down, then it freezes. Oh, and I see why. Another ad. Make your money. I keep saying this, make your money. But these ads right here, like they mess up these websites, I'm telling you. So that's why it was freezing a little bit. And then it jumped up and down. ISM new orders index, stock prices, and leading credit index. It helps identify shifts in economic trends and turning points in financial markets and is considered one of the most reliable signals of a recession, defined as a consecutive quarterly contractions in the growth rate. I don't care what you listen. Let's throw all the little terminologies out the window. Throw out recession, throw out depression. Let's just be real people here. People are having a hard time. Prices are sky high. They can't, the wage growth has slowed down dramatically. All right, dramatically. Don't look at the most recent data. Look at that in a comparison to the last 5 years. No, let's go to the last 7 years of wage growth and look at where it is right now compared to at certain points. It's extremely hard for these people to find jobs. Affordability of living is terrible. They can't. It's very hard for these individuals coming out of college to afford apartments, let alone houses. But they want to be homeowners. They're in a harsh state right now. So these individuals are using this technical language to say everything's okay. The most important part of the United States is the people. It's like they forget that. The most important part are the people. The people are what make everything go around, and they're having a hard time. So let's stop the nonsense and let's help the people out. This is not difficult. It's not difficult at all. You know what's the problem is a lot of money going into the pockets of certain individuals. And so they're incentivized to help no one but themselves. That's the problem, selfishness. I'm telling you right now of how like certain industries worked. And I've been around for a while. I've seen a thing or two. But it doesn't have to be that way. See, what people don't understand, the ones at the top who are very disconnected from people at the ground level, and we'll probably end off on this. I was trying to get the goal, but I might not get the goal today. But they're very disconnected from the people. What they don't understand is they can still live well while everyone else can do well also. But what's happening is they're trying to do extra well, and that's going to take away from, because then there's a lot of corruption that comes in with that. That wasn't done fairly. So then it takes away from the regular people. I'm trying to keep it as basic as possible, right? All right. So now let's see if we can squeeze in this gold here. I'm going to get this gold article in. Commodities are always exciting, always fun. I guess now, if this article ever pops up, I guess now I told people copper a long time ago, before copper popped off, I said, hey, listen, something's going down. Something's going down with one of these commodities, and copper was doing well for a while, but here we have this article here. Gold. Why are investors rushing in as the shine comes off of copper? Well, because the shine never comes off of gold. Once again, I saw more reports yesterday, more of predictions of gold going to $3,000. And it was from some other big banks. Again, they know something's coming. They know it. So the shine doesn't come off of gold. And if gold goes up, listen, gold's little brother, younger sibling, silver, will go up as well. My humble opinion, not financial advice now. Gold prices have reached a new all-time high, that we know, very beautiful, driven by expectations of a lower interest rate environment and increasing demand for safe haven assets. In contrast, base metals such as copper remain weak, largely due to sluggish economic growth in major economies, particularly from China. It says here, let's see, I'm going to get to that part where they talk about copper. In contrast, base metals such as copper have remained weak due to economic concerns. The copper futures price plunged to a 5-month low of $3.93 per pound in early August before experiencing a mild rebound to $4.18 per pound on Monday, driven by sluggish China demand. The macroeconomic backdrop indicates that central banks are on course to loosen monetary policies. My word. Oh, my goodness. First, they wanted to tighten up the monetary policy. Now they're going to loosen up monetary policy again. It says, due to softening consumer prices and slowing economic growth, gold prices are inversely correlated with the value of the U.S. dollar and interest rates. So I want to say this. If they're going to walk the same path again, how it's going to be different than before with loose monetary policy? What's going to change? First, as gold is priced in U.S. dollars, a weaker dollar makes gold less expensive in other currencies, thereby increasing demand for the precious metal. Secondly, lower interest rates make interest-bearing assets such as cash less attractive, while gold becomes more appealing as a store of value. Like I said, gold has all the catalysts right now. So those who are coming out of anything else, why would they not at least consider gold? It makes perfect sense in my humble opinion, especially with the possibility of gold increasing in value at some point in the future. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with this. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.